Hi, I'm Shelley Carney, and I'm speaking with Odes Armijo-Caster with Sacred Power Corporation. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for your presentation. I learned so much about what it takes to go off-grid.
And you're going to go off-grid now, right?
I
or
would
make
love.
the steps to go off-grid.
Yes,
Very good.
yes. I'm looking forward to that. So, but tell us why don't the power companies take care of this for us?
Well, the power companies are taking care of it for you. You see a lot of the large utility groups putting up these large solar arrays in different areas, which is not a bad thing, because in large facilities like the facility that we're in right now, you're always going to have a need for large amounts of power. But for the residential customer, why would you want to pay a utility for solar power? So you're always on, you always owe somebody. You can never not owe for your electricity. What I tell people all the time is like, think of adding solar to your facility, to your home, as a 401k plan. As you're young, you can afford to put up a solar system and you could pay it off. Typically, these systems will pay back or pay off in about 5 years, 5 to 7 years. So 5 to 7 years, your energy is going to be free. So you don't have to pay the utility. You don't have to pay a leasing company. You don't have to pay anybody, because the energy that you have is yours, and it's yours for free after that initial investment. So yes, it's good that the utilities are doing that, but I think for main industry, and we talked a little bit about the cell phone, you still need the landlines for large buildings. You have the internet connectivity in large buildings. You have landline, the different phone utilities are coming into the facility via landline. Same with the power, but just like the cell phones that are now, most homeowners, most people that I know don't have a landline. You don't need that landline for your utility power at all as well.
Great. So tell us something about the changes that you've seen over the years in the PV industry.
That's a good question. Actually, I could go into a lot of detail on that. But back when I first started doing photovoltaics, which is close to 30 plus years ago, I've never done anything but solar professionally. Back in those days, my only electric client was people that lived in the mountains, and they had crops that were questionable to most people at the time, but are becoming more and more acceptable in society. So these people were the only ones that had the money or the wherewith or the need, because they're in these remote areas, to buy photovoltaic type systems. A good thing to note is that most of those systems were small systems, but they would run around $10 to $15 per watt installed at their facilities, which wasn't a big deal for them, but would have been a big deal to transcend that cost into main society. Over the past 10 years, the cost for a solar electric installation has gone from that $8, $10 watt price all the way down to $3 and $4 per watt. So it's almost halved itself. Which is very important in that the paybacks are now there for the common homeowner. You can get a payback in 5 to 6, 7 years and have a solar system there for you to provide power when and if the utility fails, if you go off grid.
So you moved into an existing home and basically retrofitted it to your needs. Is that correct?
Basically, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I had we talked about my roots with the natural gas industry, and the natural gas industry went to full automation, so they had all these base houses. And so I was familiar with the people that had within the natural gas industry, and I'd bought one of those base houses. And I had the base house moved in from Laguna, New Mexico, and I had it set in the right orientation that I wanted. And then I started adding all the solar infrastructure to it. Matter of fact, my wife at that time thought I was crazy because I didn't want to ever go to power on the grid. So our first system was like 2 or 3 panels on this roof in the middle of the South Valley, right next to the river. And I said, we're going to start with that because that's all I can afford. And we're going to build on to this thing until it's something that we can be, happy to live in. And that's what happened. We never tied to the utility.
And how does she like it now?
She loves it. Yeah.
Well, I think I understand why. That's great. Tell us, why should people attend Solar Fiesta, and what's great about Solar Fiesta?
It's the thing that I talked about earlier about Germany being so far ahead of us, and it's mostly because the public there are more informed about their options, especially when it comes to renewable energy type technology. It's all over the place. Now, you think, well, I see solar all the time now. The common Joe sees solar commercials on TV. They hear about solar installations, on public lands around them. But it's like, can I really do this myself? So I think the biggest obstacle has been one, communication, training, and that's what Solar Fiesta offers. You have all the different people that will give presentations on good topics that concern solar type installations. And then on top of that, you have all the vendors that are out there ready to come to your house, do a site survey, site visit, and help you in acquiring a solar system for yourself.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for speaking with us today, Odes.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm Shelley Carney. Thank you for joining us today while I spoke with Odes Armijo-Caster of Sacred Power Corporation.